The reason nobody asks how you're doing anymore is that you answered. Every time. For 15 years, somebody asked. You said you were fine and they believed you because you never once gave them a reason not to. Do that a few hundred times and the question dries up on its own. You retired it yourself, one answer at a time. You're already arguing with that. You're thinking about the friends who moved away, the guys who only surface when they need something, the wife who tells her sister about her day and tells you about the calendar. Some of that is real. People do get self-absorbed, and a few of them do drift off for good, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that never happened to you. That part happened and it isn't yours to fix. The other part is yours, and the other part is bigger than you think. Get the diagnosis wrong, and you stay exactly where you're sitting. If the only thing that happened is that people stopped caring, nothing changes until they change, and now you're waiting on other people to become better than they are. Men wait on that for a decade and get old doing it. If a good share of it comes from something you do every day without noticing, that share is inside your reach starting this week. Somebody will ask you today, "Hey, guy at work, your brother on the phone, the woman ringing up your coffee." The answer will be out of your mouth in under a second. That is faster than you can check anything about yourself. It's the noise you make when somebody makes that noise at you, and it's been that way so long you'd have to physically stop yourself to say anything else. Catch it once today and you'll hear it. The word arrives before the question finishes landing, and every one of those answers taught somebody something. You told them the question has a fixed answer. People believe what they see repeated, and you handed it over daily, for free, to everyone who has ever known you. The answer didn't move on the weeks it should have moved either. The month, the money didn't work. The stretch where you were waiting on results and hadn't told a soul you'd even gone in. You showed up, somebody asked how it was going, and you said good, in the same second you'd have spent on any ordinary morning of your life. People run on information. A question that returns the same answer every time stops getting asked. That's just how talking works. Nobody keeps asking if you want ice after the 10th time. Most of the men around you are being efficient with a guy who has given one answer for 10 years, and that efficiency is trained behavior. You ran the training. When did somebody last ask you a second question? I mean the one that comes after your answer, the follow-up. The one that means they heard something worth going into. Most men have to go back years to find one. Some have to go back to a hospital waiting room or a funeral, where the rules changed for an afternoon and then changed back. Count the questions aimed at you between now and Sunday. Almost everyone will be about what you can do. Can you look at the noise the car's making? Are you free Saturday? Did the insurance call back? Can you get him at 6? Those are questions you ask a service, and you have been running one reliably for a long time. Every one of those questions is built on the assumption that you're fine. Most of the people asking came to that assumption honestly. 15 years of data, all of it saying the same thing, delivered cheerfully by you. There are probably one or two in your life who went selfish or went absent on their own, and you can name them without thinking hard. Leave those where they are. The rest are working off the only material you ever made available, and they're reading it correctly. That group is still in range. That group is what this is about. You trained them from the other direction too. Somebody brings you something heavy, and within 90 seconds you're handing them a plan. Call this guy. Here's what I do. Want me to come Saturday? You're good at plans, and it feels like the useful thing to do with your hands while another person is talking. So they learn what they get from you. Bring the heavy thing to you and a plan comes out. Bring it to somebody else and they get to sit in it for a while first. Eventually, the heavy things go elsewhere and you get the logistics, which is why you're in every group chat and in nobody's late phone call. And it's worse at home than it is at work. Your wife has stopped asking how you are and started asking if you're mad. That's the one setting she can still read on you, because irritation leaks out and nothing else does. Your kid can tell what kind of night it's going to be from the sound the door makes, and that's the full range of information available on you in your own house. You taught the people who love you a two-setting version of yourself, working or annoyed. They read it accurately every single time, which is what makes it so hard to hold against them. They've been getting the short version of you for a decade, and they adjusted to what came through. That's a reasonable thing for a person to do, and it's also completely reversible because you control what goes out. I asked a friend a straight question in a hospital corridor once, the week his father was dying. He told me about the parking. Told me the rate had gone up and where the cheaper lot was, and I stood there and let him do it because pushing on him felt rude. That answer was the only one he had loaded, and it fired on schedule. Mine would have too. And this is where the whole thing gets hard to just decide your way out of, because the habit started as a good decision. It was a strategy, and back then, it was the right call. Somewhere back there, you said the true thing out loud, and it went badly. Maybe you were 9, and it made your mother cry, so now you were the reason she was crying on top of everything already going on. Maybe you were 26, and told a supervisor you were underwater, and 6 weeks later, you weren't getting the good jobs anymore, and nobody explained why, so you ran the other version. Handle it, say nothing, come back Monday. And the results came in fast. Nothing got worse. Nobody cried. The job stayed. You got a reputation as the guy who doesn't crack, and that reputation got you hired, trusted, married, and put in charge of things that matter. And it still pays, today, this week. You get through a workday because you're not carrying a conversation about yourself around with you. You decide fast because you're not consulting anybody. Half the reason your family functions is that one person absorbs everything and generates no weather. That's you. It works. Let me be exact about what works means here, because that word is carrying a lot. It gets you to the end of the day, every time, with a clean record for 20 years. It has never once been tested on anything longer than a day. You've never run it across a decade and checked what it returns, because it doesn't hand you anything you can read. The bill never arrives as an event. Nothing happens to you. Nobody sits you down to inform you that you've been reclassified. It shows up as subtraction. The call that doesn't come, the follow-up nobody asks, the invitation that went to somebody else because you were assumed to be busy and fine and probably working. You notice things that happen, a fight, a diagnosis, a layoff. You'd clock any of those inside a second and remember the date. An absence has no date attached to it. There's no day you can point to when your brother stopped asking because there wasn't one. It happened across 400 conversations, and every single one of them was pleasant. That's why men your age describe it as people getting distant, or life getting busier, or the town changing. All of those explanations share one shape. Something happened out there to me. Nothing in your week ever pointed at a word you say in under a second and forget before lunch, so the word never made the list of suspects. At some point this year, somebody is going to ask you properly. They'll sit down, use your name, and wait through the pause instead of filling it. And the first thing that shows up in you will be a plan for getting out of it. Chest tightens, eyes go to the door, and some part of you starts assembling something that ends this in 30 seconds. You'll do one of 3 things. You'll make it funny. You'll give the headline version, the one with a shrug built into the delivery. Or you'll turn it around and ask about him, which works every time, because almost anybody would rather be the one talking. Then you'll get in the car and drive home, and you'll count that as a win. A man came at you with the exact thing you've been missing for 10 years, and you handled him and got out clean. You got out clean because the sentence isn't there anymore. You'd have to build it from scratch, Liv, in front of somebody, and you haven't built one since you were young enough to still try. You know what you tell yourself in that moment because it's always the same 3. He's got his own problems. It would change how he looks at me. I'll get into it once this current thing is over. That last one has been on rotation since your 30s, and there has never once been a month without a current thing in it. I've used the 3rd one myself. I had a whole year where I was going to talk to my brother about something once the move was done. The move got done in March. 2 years later, I still haven't brought it up, and I've had about 200 good chances since. There was a moment in the last 6 months when you almost said it. In a car with somebody, probably. Cars are where men talk, because nobody has to look at anybody, and the whole thing ends when you pull in. Or on a phone call that ran 20 minutes past, where it should have ended, and neither of you hung up. You got right to the edge. The sentence was assembled and sitting in your mouth, and you could feel the shape of it. Then you asked him about the truck, or the job, or what his kid decided about school, and he answered, and the road kept going. You turned the radio up on the way back, and by the driveway it was gone, and you already have the person picked. That's the thing I want you to check. There's one specific human being who has come to mind twice while I've been talking. A brother, an old friend from a job you left, a cousin, a guy you worked nights with in your 20s. You've been carrying him around as the one you'd tell if you ever told anybody. You picked him years ago, and you have never once used him. You're not short on people, and you're not short on material. You've got the guy and you've got the thing to say, and the only thing in between is a word you say in under a second. Right now, you're building your exception. It sounds like one of these. I actually am fine. There's genuinely nothing to report. Or, my wife knows everything, we talk all the time. Or the strongest one, the one I'd probably use. I'm a private guy. That's my personality. I've always been like this. Take the private one seriously because it deserves it. A preference is something you can go against when you decide to. If you'd rather not talk, then talk tonight and find it unpleasant, the way you'd eat a food you don't like. Go against it once on purpose and watch what your body does. If the words won't come out, you're looking at something that runs on its own, with or without your say-so. There's a cleaner test for all three. Think of the last genuinely hard thing you went through. Not the worst one, the last one. The month the money didn't work, the appointment, the conversation with the lawyer, the kid who wasn't okay. Now name every person who knew about it while it was still happening, while it was unresolved, before you had it contained and could tell it properly. Telling it after doesn't count, because every man tells it after once it's finished, and he comes out of the story looking competent. If the number for during is 0, or it's 1 and it's your wife, and she only knows because she saw the letter on the counter, the test came back, and it came back the same as everybody else's. One thing I want to keep separate from all this, because it matters. There are men whose people genuinely did walk off. The divorce that took the friend group, the town they moved to for work, the years where they were the only one holding a roof up. That version is real, and it isn't what I'm describing. Plenty of men have both running at once, 2 or 3 who checked out on their own, and a dozen others still standing there with nothing to go on. The dozen is where your work is, and there's a clean way to tell which situation you're in. If you've said something true and unresolved out loud in the last year to somebody who could have caught it and nothing came back, that's a different problem, and it needs a different answer. Part of what keeps the whole thing shut is a suspicion that there's no small way to do it, that if you open it even slightly, the last 20 years come out at once on somebody's back porch, and now you're a guy who did that in front of people you have to see again. One sentence is the small way. You're not opening a vein at a barbecue. You're saying one accurate thing and then going back to the food, and the accurate thing takes about 4 seconds to say out loud. So take the man you already picked. Don't announce anything. Don't tell him you need to talk. Don't schedule it. Don't build it into an occasion. Because an occasion is something you can cancel, and you'll cancel it by Thursday. Wait until he asks you the ordinary question, the one he still throws at you out of pure habit. Answer that one with a true sentence. One sentence, and it's the real one, shorter than a voicemail. Work's been bad since January, and I haven't told anybody. I'm sleeping about 4 hours, and it's been months. I don't know what I'm doing with my marriage. Whatever the actual thing is, in the words you use in your own head, with no run-up and no apology stapled to the end of it. Then stop talking. That's the part that will feel impossible, and it's the entire move. Don't rescue him from it. Don't put a joke on it to take the weight off. Don't tell him it's not a big deal. 4 seconds of nothing. Let him stand in it. And watch what he does, because I'll call this one too. He won't flinch, and he won't get strange with you. He'll ask a second question. It'll be a clumsy one, because he's out of practice the same as you are. And it will be the second question anybody has asked you in years. Then he does something you're not expecting. He tells you something back. Inside of a month, you'll know a true thing about that man's life you had no idea about, because you went first and handed him a permission he's been waiting on just as long as you have. 15 years of training doesn't come apart in one night, and it doesn't have to. You're doing one thing, putting one true sentence in front of one specific man and watching what comes back, then doing it again next month with the same guy or a different one. Some people will fail the test, and you'll learn something worth knowing about them. Most won't. Most of them have had 15 years of proof pointing one direction, all of it supplied by you. Hand them one piece, pointing the other way, and watch how fast they turn. They believed you the whole time. You're the one who decides what they get to believe next.